Life-changing opportunity while ignoring life-changing decisions sitting right in front of us. The scary part is that your future probably won't be decided by one massive choice. It will be decided by the small decisions you keep repeating every single day and pretending don't matter. Sometimes I think about how strange life really is. We spend so much time looking for big moments that we completely overlook the small ones. We believe our lives will change when we get more money, when we find the right opportunity, when we meet the right person, when everything finally falls into place. But when I look back at some of the biggest changes in my life, they really started with something dramatic. They started with a small decision that seemed unimportant at the time. A decision to make one phone call, a decision to speak to someone, a decision to wake up earlier, a decision to stop talking to certain people, a decision to start learning something new, a decision to try again after failing. At the time, those decisions looked small. Looking back, they changed everything. That is what makes life so interesting and so dangerous at the same time because the decisions that shape our future don't usually announce themselves. They don't come with a warning sign saying, this moment is important. They look ordinary. They look ordinary. That is why so many people miss them. One small decision that changes life is deciding who you listen to. Most people don't realize how much influence other voices have over their thinking. You spend enough time around people who complain, and you will start seeing problems everywhere. You spend enough time around people who make excuses, and excuses will start sounding reasonable. When you spend enough time around people who have no ambition, and eventually you will start lowering your own standards without even noticing. One conversation may not change your life, but thousands of conversations absolutely will. Another small decision that changes life is deciding what you do when nobody's watching. Everybody talks about success when people are looking. Everybody talks about discipline when it's convenient. But the real difference is what happens in private. Do you work on your goals when nobody is applauding? Do you keep your promises to yourself when nobody would know if you did not? Because character is built in private, long before results appear in public. Then, there is the decision to start before you feel ready. This is one I constantly remind myself about. So many of us spend years waiting for confidence. We think confidence comes first and action comes later, but most of the time it's the opposite. Confidence comes from action. Confidence comes from trying. Confidence comes from surviving mistakes and realizing you are stronger than you thought. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you may spend your entire life waiting. Another decision that changes life is choosing what you give your attention to. Attention is one of the most valuable things we have, yet many of us give it away so easily. We spend hours watching things that don't help us grow, following drama that does not affect our lives, comparing ourselves to people we don't even know. Then we wonder why we feel stuck. Your attention is like water. Whatever you pour it into grows. If you constantly pour it into distractions, distractions will grow. If you pour it into growth, growth will grow. There is also the small decision to walk away from what no longer serves you. Sometimes growth is not about adding something to your life. Sometimes it's about removing something, a toxic friendship, a destructive habit, a negative environment, a mindset that keeps holding you back. We often know what we need to let go of, but we keep holding on because change feels uncomfortable. What we don't realize is that holding on can be far more painful than letting go. Another small decision that changes life is deciding how you respond to failure. Everyone fails, everyone gets rejected, everyone makes mistakes. The difference is what happens next. Some people treat failure like a stop sign, other people treat it like a lesson. One person sees rejection and quits. Another person sees rejection and learns. The event may be the same, but the response creates completely different future. And maybe one of the most powerful decisions of all is deciding to take responsibility for your life because everything, or let me say, not because everything is your fault. Life does not work that way. Sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes circumstances are unfair. Sometimes people hurt us, but responsibility is about recognizing that even when we can't control what happens to us, we can still control how we respond. The moment you stop waiting for someone else to rescue you is the moment your life starts changing. That is why this message is for me, just as much as it is for anyone listening. Because when I think about the person I want to become, I realize that version of me won't appear because of one magical moment. He will appear through small decisions made constantly over time. The decision to keep going when it's not easy. The decision to learn when it's easy to stay comfortable. The decision to act when it's easy to delay. The decision to grow when it's easy to remain the same. Most people underestimate small decisions because they focus on immediate results. They make one good decision and nothing changes overnight, so they stop. They forget that life works like a chain reaction. One decision leads to another. One habit creates another. One action creates momentum. And before you know it, the life you are living is a result of thousands of small decisions you once thought did not matter. That is why every day matters more than we think. Every choice matters more than we think. Every decision matters more than we think. Not because any single one will instantly change your life, but because they slowly shape the person you are becoming. And one day you will wake up living a future that was created by decisions nobody else noticed, including you. So, the biggest mistake most people make is waiting for a decision that changes everything. The truth is that everything changes because of the decisions you thought were too small to matter. So, ask yourself this: what small decision am I avoiding today that could completely change my life 5 years from now? Because your future is not being built by one giant choice, it's built by the small choices you are making right now.